I've been using movement and mobility training with hoopers for the last 5+ years, and it's safe to say that I've gotten pretty decent results. I work with some of the best high school players in the country. I work with a bunch of Division I players, and I really know what I'm talking about when it comes to movement and mobility training. I have my doctorate in physical therapy, really helped me apply some of those main concepts to hoopers, get them moving better, more fluid, all that. But something that I'm putting my finger on more and more lately that really separates the best movers from average movers, and it's more than mobility, it's more than how you move, and it's something that guys like Paul George, Trae Young, Darius Garland, Kyrie, they all have this ability, and I'm going to go over it in this video right now. And if you're somebody that's interested in becoming a top 1% mover on the court, you want to be able to get wherever you want while you have the ball in your hands and you want to make it look effortless, then you should really watch this video and understand this perspective. I'm going to go through the 3 stages of becoming a good mover that I have noticed with players in the gym, and the third one really relates to those 1% movers, Trae Young, Darius Garland, all of them. By the end of this video, you should understand which stage you're on and what you need to work on, and then how to progress to the next level. Let's get into it. Stage 1 is low strength. What is low strength? Low strength is just your ability to get into low positions. If you were to just take a screenshot or a picture of yourself when you're in your lowest position or when you're in those deep positions on drives, what do you look like? Do you look like a top 1% mover, or do you look like a 5th grader that has no lower body strength? Again, I said a picture or a screenshot. This is the static position that I want to really work on. So why is this important? A lot of players, when they come into us, they don't even have the prerequisite strength to unlock the movement that they need to be good movers. They are not able to get into this position at all. They're not able to get into this position without any pain or weakness, any of that. So the stage one is just, are you strong enough? And if you're not strong enough, what do you need to do? You have to become stronger. How do you do that? You could do simple things like deep isometrics, just like this. This is an extreme iso lunge. Back leg as straight as possible, thigh parallel to the ground, front heel elevated, chest up like Superman, and I'm holding it for as long as I possibly can. I could do this for 2-3 sets every single day on both sides. Something like that teaches me how to get lower. What else can I do? I could do simple strength training, but again, you need to just identify, is it a problem for you to be able to even get low in a static position? Are you strong enough to do it? Because if you are, then it's something you desperately need to work on. I made a whole YouTube video on what you need to do to improve your mobility. I walk through it step by step, all the important things that you should be doing. But in this video, I'm not really giving that. All I'm giving is the stages. So if you are somebody that can't even get into these positions, you struggle to get low, then you have to consider that. That is stage 1. You are on stage 1. That's simple. Let's move on to stage 2, a little bit more complex. Now, stage 2 of this process is movement over moves. What is this? This just refers to the fact that how you move and the context in which you move is far more important than how you define what a move is, like an in and out, working on your in and out, or working on your hezi and go, or working on your hezi cross or cross step. I don't really care what you're working on, but how you do those moves is more important than the move itself, and that's something that not a lot of people tell you or even know about, but it's the absolute truth. The best players on this planet can do any move effectively, but the way in which they move is better than anybody else on the planet. So I'm going to show you movement over move. So if you're somebody that can only do a hezi and go, and you practice it every single day, hezi and go, hezi and go, but then when you go into games, you struggle to get any of your moves off. This is a sign that you are somebody that is prioritizing moves over movement instead of the other way around. So a quick example of how to train your movement and why it's important to train your movement is just this right here. So what you need to consider is that, why are the best players good? And you have to reverse engineer it. The best players are good because they have so many options of how they can move. They have so many ways that they could beat you because they're capable of doing so many things. They're not doing the same hezi and go over and over again. They're able to handle different positions of their foot, different shin angle positions, different widths. They just have so many options when it comes to their center of mass, their mobility, all of it. So one way that we teach movement is through shin angle change and falling. A simple way to do this is you just get a chair, you're sitting in the chair. All I'm doing is tipping out of the chair. My butt doesn't drop to the ground. It doesn't stand up. All it does is move forward. This is teaching you weight shift. Weight shift is extremely important. From here, just fall and catch. So shins to the ground, catch. Again, shins to the ground, other way, catch. Teaching you how to move effortlessly and how to actually coordinate your body. The timing is very important. So then when I go into my in and out, it's still here, shins to the ground. When I do my cross step, it's still here, shins to the ground. When I do my hezi and go, shins to the ground. Hezi cross, shins to the ground. It doesn't matter what move I do. It's about how I'm able to move. So that's just one quick bullet point of why movement is important. Shin angle change, gravity, being effortless. But there's a ton of other ways that you could train your movement rather than your moves. But that's stage 2. Again, have a whole other video on it explaining strength, mobility, movement, all of those qualities in a separate video that's linked in the description below. But for now, let's move on to the third aspect that I really want to key in on, because there's so many players that have the strength, have the movement, have the mobility, but they just can't use it in game. So let's get into stage 3 of this process. Now, the third and final stage of becoming a really good mover is having creative decision-making ability. What is creative decision-making ability? A lot of people have heard the term read and react. A lot of people understand that you should take what the defense is giving you. They understand those words, but they don't know how to apply it. So I'm going to reframe it. I'm going to shift it and give you this analogy. So I want you to pretend like the defense is a keyhole, right? And what you need to identify is the correct key that you have to mold yourself into to unlock it. Because what people don't understand is that every way a defender can guard you, there is an answer. There is a key that fits that hole. There's a peg that fits in that space. But you have to be able to A, mold into that space, B, mold into that space quick enough, and C, be open and receptive to that creative solution, which this is what I'm talking about with this third piece, is the openness and receptivity to those options. Because there's a lot of people that say, okay, I'm gonna go do an in and out, and I'm gonna go left, in and out, and I'm just gonna blow by their shoulder. The problem with that is it leaves you with one option. You're trying to force a square peg into a round hole most of the time, and it doesn't work against good defense. If you're way stronger, way bigger, way faster than the person guarding you, sure, it's gonna work. But what happens when you actually play somebody good? You have to do the right thing. You can't just do anything. You have to do the right thing. You can't force it. So a lot of people will say, read and react, but it's not read and react. It's attack, read, be open after the attack, and then play off of it. So say I do an in and out going left here. I need to be in a position with my body, an openness with my mind, an openness with my decision making to say, okay, there's a trillion different scenarios of how I could get past this guy right here, but I need to pick the right way. So if I go in and out and they cut me off, people will robotically just train, okay, they cut you off, in and out, cross and go. And that's all they train. But here's the problem with not playing against live defense is that you don't get all of the variables, all of the options, and the opportunity to develop adaptive problem-solving ability. So I go in and out. If they cut me off, sometimes the answer is not going to be crossover. It's going to be, do you have the footwork to go by them? Do you have the ballerina-type instincts to say, you know what? This is the option that I'm going to choose because their hand is here, X, Y, Z, and so I'm here, and then I'm around. It can get crazy, right? You watch the guys like Trae Young, you watch highlights of PG, Darius Garland, Kyrie Irving. They're not cookie cutter people, right? It's not that simple. You have to just be open to so many different possibilities when you play. And this is something that I do struggle to help players with, and I'm trying to find different solutions, but the first step is just talking about it because nobody talks about it. I really want you to watch Trae Young. Watch him, watch some highlights. There's rarely a move that you can identify when these guys play. All you say when you're really intently watching is like, there's no way this person is using thought. There's no way this person isn't tapped into something that I don't currently understand, because the way they can move their feet, the things that they decide to do in a split second, milliseconds even in time, is absolutely remarkable. But how are they able to do this? I truly believe they're able to do this because they are open to creative solutions. They are understanding how is the defense guarding them and how do they have to mold themselves to be the correct solution to how they're guarding them. You don't understand, like, I don't know how to explain this perfectly, but that's how it is. And you would only understand this if you're a player that has experienced this before. If you're a trainer or coach, there's no way you understand what I'm talking about, probably, because you're not thinking like a player. I'm thinking like a player right now. When I'm playing somebody, it's a key and a keyhole. And I have to figure out, I have to be open, I have to be calm enough, I have to have all the qualities in alignment in order to be able to do that. And guess what? When you're playing at your best, which hopefully you've had experiences where you're playing out of your mind, this is how you play, right? You're tapped into something. There's a flow. There's a creativity that you're tapped into. You're not worried about anything else that's going on in regards to the game. You're only interested in solving the problem in front of you, and you're open to all the ways you could solve that problem. I want you to comment below with any experiences you have with what I'm talking about. Do you have no idea what I'm talking about? Have you experienced what I'm talking about? Is there anything that you can add to what I'm talking about? I do know, though, however, that this is an extremely important topic, this stage 3 of creative mobility, creative problem solving. People just want to talk about the what. It's all they want to talk about. How do you move? How low can you get? What is actually happening? But how do you make the decision to even do the things that you do in the time that you decide to do it? Because a lot of you are capable of moving in certain patterns. You're capable of the mobility, but then when it comes to execution, you can't execute it. Why can't you execute it if you're capable of it? Because you're not open to solutions. So that's it. Those are the 3 stages. I want you to comment with your thoughts about stage 3 below. Let me know your feedback. That's it for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. No!